we're pleased to have Coach Dickert here with us. He'll have an opening statement, then we'll open it up for Q&A. And as always, we have the microphone there in the back. So if you have questions, please walk up to the microphone, ask your questions there. Reminder, state your name and affiliation, and please speak up so that you can be heard. Thank you. Coach, go ahead.
Well, good afternoon. I just want to start out by thanking all the media. I think you guys play a vital role in sharing the stories and experiences of all of our student athletes, and I think that's one thing that isn't brought up enough. I'm excited to be part of my first Pac-12 Media Days. It just means college football and the pageantry and the traditions of college football is right around the corner. I'm humbled and honored to represent Washington State University, an amazing land-grant research institution, and I'm honored to represent Washington State in our football program. It's a place that fits me and my family so very well, and when I say represent Washington State football program, I have an opportunity to represent our coaches, their families, our administration, our strength coaches, nutritionalists, equipment people, cooks and chefs, and amazing faculty and alumni, and our special fans. Everyone really has a valued place in our program, and I just really appreciate all those people. I'm thankful for the belief in President Schultz, Chancellor Chilton, our athletic director, Pat Chun, all amazing leaders in their industry, and their belief in me and our program and what we can build in the future here at Washington State. Our journey for 2022 really started January 9th. And we started as a team really building what we're calling the new Wazoo. And I know while I'm looked at as the model of consistency in the face of our program, I had an opportunity to bring 22 new staff members into our program. Men and women that are amazing mentors for our players, and they're all servant leaders to what our players need. We began building a team, and a team that's going to be forged through adversity and accountability, a team that's going to really believe in the process, and each and every one of our players, are driven daily by wanting to be their best on and off the field. I'm joined by two amazing representatives of our football program. We call them the Palouse products. The first one is Ron Stone Jr. He's an edge rusher from San Jose, California. RJ was a first-team all-conference performer last year in the Pac-12, and since day one, RJ has been with me on the defensive side of the football and has been really a change agent in one of the best defensive turnarounds in the country last season. I'm excited for that group's continued development under our new defensive coordinator, Brian Ward. The second one is Cameron Ward. Cam comes to us from West Columbia, Texas. He's a transfer quarterback from UIW, and I want to be on the record in saying I'm a believer in Cam Ward. Cam has come in and earned the trust of this football team through repetitive action and hard work, and he's put in the hard work behind the scenes, and I'm excited about what he's going to do with the weapons that we have in offense and under the direction of one of the best offensive coordinators, I believe, in the country, and Eric Morris. Our specialists aren't here with us today, but we got two special ones in a first-teamer in Dean Janikowski last year, as well as a freshman All-American in Nick Haber, and we continue to be excited about their development and using those guys as weapons. But the bottom line in our program, character is an action word. Okay, the two men that represent our place today, they fully embrace that and embody that. All right, and they understand the impact that they make on our team, but more importantly, they understand the impact that they make on their university and our community. And they really understand and embody what it is to be a Coug. Lastly, I just think we stand on the doorstep of new challenges. But I'm really excited about the future of the Pac-12 and the Pac-12 football. I think we have the right leadership in place, and George and our commissioner and his leadership team, because they're solution-based. I believe everybody, wants progress, but nobody wants change. I talk to our guys all the time. Change is inevitable in life. And college football is changing at a very, very fast rate. But I know because we have solution-based leaders in the Pac-12 and we have great leadership at Washington State, I think the Pac-12 is going to be here and is going to be thriving for a very long time. So we're excited about our 22 football season, and I'm ready to open it up for any questions.
Hello, Coach. Kent Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents. In regards to Cam, high school, we came from a wing T system. He sets all those records. at Incarnate. What finally sold him on coming to Washington State?
Well, I think the biggest thing is consistency. I think Cam's story, if you don't know it, is a special one, coming out of a small town, running the wing tee, like you mentioned, just outside of Houston, Texas, wasn't heavily recruited. And those are the stories that make college football what it is. And, what I talk about with Cam Ward and the consistency of it was, obviously Coach Morris was his head coach that season at UIW. But it was the opportunity to showcase what he could do in a system that he believes in a system that is very quarterback driven. We're going to give him the opportunity to change the play and get us in the best routes. And, I told him all the time, I trust him. I believe in him. Go out there and be you, right? And Cam hasn't reached his ceiling. And for us coaches that really love the passion and the technique and the coaching and the development, that's exciting for us as a football program. So I'm excited for Cam. I'm excited to help him through adversity. His first year at UIW, there was a lot of success. And we know being in this league, there'll be a lot of challenges that we're ready to attack head on. But it's amazing to see his development last year at UIW to what I saw in the spring. That's that classic year one to year two quarterback jump. And, I'm excited to help him throughout his journey.
And with that, Washington State, they've had success like in the past 5-6 years. There was a time where they were beating down USC at home. What makes this time different for Washington State?
Say that one more time. I didn't quite hear you.
For Washington State, they've had success in the past, previous coaches, but in terms of this time, what makes them different?
Like I said, the new Wazoo, hopefully is going to be about stability. Our players need stability. They need continuity, and I talked about a place that fits me and my family so well. It fits our players really well. There's a mentality and accountability because I think our guys would be the first ones to tell you that we're a team. Okay, when we win 60-58, we win 0-3, the Cougs win. And I think there's a lot of power in having that team atmosphere, that team mentality, that each and every one of our guys know they're playing for the man next to them. So I can't speak to the other regimes on that, but I know that's what our guys will hang our hat on each and every week.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach Shahan J. Rogers, CBSSport.com. When you decided to hire Eric Morris, what kind of made you connected and realize that he was interested in potentially leaving a head coaching job to become an offensive coordinator?
Well, the biggest decision at first was, we had to make a change. I think there was one of those things where just my vision of offense is multiplicity, and you need a tight end to do that. I think in college football, you need to play with the pace. I looked at it more from my defensive lens. What gives us problems, and, you create your list of, what that looks like. I know the air raid-ish offense has been very successful at Washington State, but the seller to me was his energy and passion. Okay, and he understands Pullman. He was on Coach Leach's staff in 2012, and it's important for me that him and his family are comfortable there and want to be there and see this thing all the way through. But I'm a firm believer he is one of the best young offensive minds in college football. I think we have him right here on the Palouse, and we're very fortunate. And I put him through a very extensive process on the front end, and we're excited about what he does. Because it isn't just this is what we do, Coach. He came in, he saw our pieces, and he's going to fit the strengths of our guys each and every week. And I think that is the sign of a really good coach.
You kind of mentioned approaching it as a defensive coordinator. Some defensive coordinators almost want to pack it in on offense and don't want to be dynamic. For you, obviously, you coached alongside Nick Rolovich. Now you're bringing another high-powered offensive mind. What's kind of your experience with that? What kind of made you want to drive towards a dynamic offense?
Yeah, well, if you look through my history, through the Coach Bowl eras and the Wyomings and the North Dakota States, like it was downhill power football. I just think that you can still create elements of power and toughness and physicality, which we will have at Washington State, but you got to take advantage of the new college rules, right? And you got to be RPOing, you got to have the ability to play at any tempo, and you got to be, have the ability to keep the defense off balance. So that'll be a process as we go throughout our new journey. But that's the vision that I've always had of offensive football. And that doesn't mean you can't be tough. You know, the Coug grade will be tough. You know, and I'm excited about bringing those run elements to our program, and the mentality, you know, that I think Eric and our staff has fits my vision of where we want to be in the future.
Hey, Coach. Mike Vorel from the Seattle Times. I'm curious, you obviously come from a small school background as a player and as a coach. With the way that college football seems to be moving with potential super conferences and haves and have-nots, do you feel like it's moving in a direction that's good for the game and is good for the players? Or what's your perception on that based off of your perspective coming from smaller schools in those environments?
I think I have a little bit of a unique perspective. I mean, I have an opportunity to coach, to your point, at every level, you know, and I was a Division III football player and got an opportunity to make the climb. And, you know, I tell our guys, I used to sell raffle tickets to get into fall camp, you know, so I give them that perspective too, just so we could eat, right? So, you know, college football is changing, right? And there's a lot of parameters that we need to continue to keep in place to preserve what we all love about the traditions and the rivalries of college football, you know, but it's always going to be with the student athlete centered to it. And I love it. You know, I think it's going to be competitive, you know, but don't make no mistake about it. The Pac-12 is going to be here for a long time in those power conferences playing big time football, you know, so I'm excited about that. And, you know, our athletes having opportunities, I know there's challenges out there, but you know, at Washington State and our players and our people, we're going to adapt to it, and we're going to survive, and we're going to keep advancing. You know, so college football in the pureness of the game, I think, will always be there, and I think we all have to fight to preserve that.
You mentioned some, you know, rivalries and how special that is, and some of those rivalries nationally have gone away. From your perspective, how important is the Apple Cup to Washington State in keeping that as kind of a foundation in the state?
Well, I think when you walk through the door at Washington State, the first thing you hear about is the Apple Cup. But you don't fully understand it until you go through it, you know, and it was taken away from us in 2020 to have the opportunity to play that game. Just walking to the stadium, you understand it, you know, and then obviously having the opportunity to bring the Apple Cup back into our building, you know, the alumni, the faculty, and everyone involved with Washington State, the calls, the texts, the emails, there's just such passion in it. I know our people's food tastes better when we win that game. Okay, that's how much the Apple Cup means to us. And, you know, being in Washington, houses are divided, you know, so it's fun. You're either Coug or you're with that other team on the other side of the state. But those rivalries are what make college football so special, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate your
Go
time.
Cougs.